I'm Rev D, and I'm fortunate that Sharri Johnson and Kirk, her husband, are here, and they traveled from Nebraska to be with us. And she's our outreach practitioner and covers that whole state and a little bit of Iowa, and so we're quite national. Not only are we just here in Paradise Hills, but we have several other states. We do support a teaching chapter in Montana too. So we're quite multi-state. We're branching out and reaching out and having wonderful, wonderful times together. What I know about Sharri is that she's an absolute beneficial presence, and we have been laughing so much and sharing so much joy. And she is a wonderful great grandma in both meanings of the word. She's great, and she's a grandma. So she has both of those meanings. And she is a wonderful educator. I know her from online learning programs, and she's a professional prayer practitioner. She's also a ministerial intern here. She does the artistry on our slides. If you haven't noticed some of the artistry on our weekly slides and on our bulletin and many things, I say sometimes, Sharri, would you mind doing such and such? And she just says yes. You know, wouldn't it be great if we could all say yes to all those wonderful things in our life? Just saying yes. And so I know her to say yes to so many wonderful things. She's also an incredible author. Not only is she well-traveled and has humor and passion, and if you hug her on the way out too, she's got a lot of improv skills too, so be sure and catch her on the way out, and she's got so many wonderful talents. I am in love with this book, and I got it for all of our people who are involved in the youth and family program here. One is God Talk for Kids, but it's really for adults. The kid in all of us. And what she's done is she's distilled affirmative prayer into 5 easy words, and they all have like one syllable. And it's to see, feel, know, thanks, and let go. And so not only is this, it's amazing. I know we're going to sell, in fact, we almost sold out of a lot of them. People are ready and chomping at the bit yesterday. God Talk for Kids, so that would be me and you, and this is also treatment with training wheels. And what we did in our Beyond Limits class was we passed this book around, and she'll tell you how many mega millions of combinations of prayers how many is it, Sharri? 24,300,000 if you open up this book, and you can, it's like you just pick out whichever phrase and affirmation that you want to use, and you can make a whole prayer in so many ways. So I know that we're all this moving prayer, and that we can choose to have a wonderful life and to be together. And I'm so grateful to be in our spiritual community and our extended community, including Sharri Johnson. Please welcome Sharri Johnson.
Good morning. I am just tickled pink, as my mama would say, to be here, instead of over there on the screen of a laptop. And the title of my talk today is, Who Are You? And that's a question you hear everywhere you go, no matter what circumstances you're in. The first thing somebody says is, who are you? And you tell them your name, you tell them what you do for a living, you tell them what you do for fun. If you're female, you tell them how many kids and grandkids and nieces and nephews you have, and maybe dogs and cats. You know. But you don't tell them who you are, because those are things about you. Those are not the things that make you who you are. What makes you who you are is what you believe. And can you imagine running into someone in an elevator and they say, who are you? And you start telling them what you believe? They're going to punch the next button, no matter where they're headed, to get away from what you believe. But you can't really answer the question, who are you, unless you know what you believe. And Ernest Holmes wrote a wonderful statement of the principles of science of mind called What We Believe. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Some of you may have read Science of Mind and know that sometimes Ernie was a little polysyllabic when it wasn't necessary. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to interpret these for you in English. First one, we believe in God Almighty, the living Spirit. one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the necessary and logical outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. And you're saying, sure. What does that mean? It means God is all there is, and all there is God. Everything that exists is part of God. Now, I don't know why he couldn't have said it that way, but that's what it means. The next one is a little shorter and easier to understand. We believe in the individualization of spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one spirit. Well, this is the same thing again. All there is God, and all that is God, which means we're God. There's only one God. We're all made out of it. Therefore, we're all individualizations of that one spirit. Well, there we go. This is one of my favorites. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. Well, God is infinite. God is eternal. God is what we're made out of. Ergo, we are infinite and eternal. And what that means is that even though we know that we are part of God, and God is part of us, that spark of uniqueness that makes each one of us different from everything else and everyone else who's ever been or ever will be, because God doesn't do the same thing over and over again, is never going to be lost. Ta-da! We believe that heaven is within us and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. Okay, so for starters, what's heaven? It is, I will tell you right now, not a place with golden streets running with milk and honey a million miles away from here above the clouds, where everybody wears sandals and white dresses and sports wings. Heaven is a state of mind. Heaven is, my personal definition of heaven is a constant conscious awareness of the presence of God. Now, the hook there is constant. You know, I could get there on occasion. Every one of you has been there. But we aren't conscious that we're in heaven when we're there. Who do you know who has, well, okay, some of you don't have grandkids. But I will never forget the first time I lifted my granddaughter up. She was 4 weeks old, and she smiled and the sun came out. And I was in heaven. And that happens to every one of us all the time, but we just let it go by. We aren't conscious of it. And one of the goals of Science of Mind is to learn how to live in the consciousness that we're already in heaven. Okay, here's the next one. I'm getting there now. Stop. Wait. Oh, how did I do that? Okay, let me try to back up. Okay. Okay, there we are. I got it. Yeah. This one is another one I really like. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of any nature. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Ernie stole that one from the Buddha. Because Ernie had enough sense to know that he didn't need to reinvent the wheel, even the cosmic wheel. What does that mean? Complete freedom from all discord of any nature, and the second part, that this goal is sure to be attained by all. Some of us may take longer than others to get there, but it's going to happen for everybody. So what's discord? Discord is conflict. And the thing that you have to get rid of in order to get rid of discord is the only thing that's necessary for conflict, and that's a sense of separation. Us versus them, me versus you, him versus her. But didn't we say a little while ago, there is only one life? That life is God's life. That life is my life. No, we didn't say it in those words, but we said it. So that me versus you, them versus us stuff is all in the world of effect. If we can shift our focus, if we can shift our awareness to see, instead of someone who is different from me, someone who is made out of the exact same God stuff I'm made out of, discord is not possible anymore. Okay, let's try this again. Am I in the right place? When you change slides, you got to do it twice. Okay, the next one is, we believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. And here's the best part. We believe that God is personal to anyone who feels that indwelling presence. God is not an old man in a white dress with a long beard sitting on a throne a million miles away, snickering up his sleeve and waiting for you to screw up so he can zap you. God is, in fact, not even a he or a she or an it. God is not a person. God is an infinite and eternal presence. And it lives and moves and has its being in us, just as we live and move and have our being in it. We believe, this is my all-time favorite of all of them. We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our spiritual and intuitive nature, and anyone can become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. You don't need a middleman. There's only one mind, and it's the mind of God. It is eternal and it is infinite. And every human mind is a point of consciousness in that divine mind. Think of it as a big wall with a lot of little holes in it. And each of those holes is a human mind. And when you focus your mind on that part, you look through that hole, you see all of the knowledge that is. You see all of the wisdom that is, because you're peeking out of the human and into the divine. And you can do that any time you want to. That is part of your nature as a creation of God. Oh, good. We believe, I went too far again, didn't I? All right, well, just pretend you don't see this one. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through universal law, which is the mind of God. This is the thing that I love about science of mind. Miracles, in the traditional sense, mean God broke the rules God made. There's some saying, God didn't break the rules. God made rules we don't know about yet. But we are surrounded by and folded in that creative mind that is always active. And it receives the direct impress of every thought we think and acts upon it. And that is why, you can look at this one now, that is why we believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind, because we know it's ours to use. That's why we believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind, because we know it's ours to use. There we go. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, the eternal givingness of life to all. That's because God is not good with one of the O's taken out. Good is God with its heart wide open. Instantly, eternally, constantly available to each and every one of us. And the very last one. Oops, I'm doing it again, aren't I? We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny. Because we know that we are God put into human form. That we were created by God, out of God, to experience and express all that God is. So we have the power to choose our own destiny and to manifest its perfect fulfillment. So that's my invitation to you today, to take this little statement of principle and to look for the places where it is already given expression in your life, to become aware of the places where you are actually living these truths. That's the fun part. Then the other part is you start to become aware of the places where you're not already living these truths. And look for ways you can start to live from that place. There is an ancient Sanskrit word that has become very popular in the United States in the past 2 or 3 decades. It's namaste. It means the divine in me recognizes, honors, and celebrates the divine in thee. Namaste. Now, if you'll join me for a brief moment of inward journey. There is only one presence and one power in the universe. It is the presence of God, infinite and eternal. It is the power of love, unconditional and eternal. I know that I am an expression of that power. I am an expression of that love. This is the very definition of my being. And as I know this truth for myself, I know it for every single person within the sound of my voice. We are the place where God shows up. It is through the human heart that God expresses love. It is through human hands and feet that God expresses compassion. It is through human eyes that God experiences beauty. And I celebrate the amazing gift of humanity that is expressed in and through and as each and every one of us. I celebrate the truth that we are, each one, exactly who we're supposed to be, doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing in order to reach our very highest good, in order to realize, to express, and to experience the individual talents and gifts and abilities that are ours from birth. To realize that each and every one of us is a gift from God to the universe. And that our only real job is to take off the ribbon, lift open the box, and give away the gift. And I am so enormously grateful for the peace, for the comfort, for the grace of this understanding. As I release my word into the infinite mind of its absolute fulfillment. I know it is already done.